I am so emotional simply because I have seen the light. I'm not going to be long. I like to speak from the heart. I like to speak from what's inside me. I want to just thank Safe Horizon. I want to thank all the people who are being honored tonight. Ms. Burke, again, what you started, to every person, every volunteer, you are changing the world. I'm an actor. I used to play football. I'm from the hood. I'm from Flint, Michigan. And, I've been a part of several different cultures that can all be toxic at one time or another, from the hood to entertainment to athletics. And in that world, you have this whole thing where it's like in this toxic masculinity world, it's about you do not negotiate with a terrorist. You don't. But that's only in the movies. That's only in a game. That's only the picture in the hood. But in real life, if you ever talk to a real life hostage negotiator, you always have to negotiate with a terrorist. Always. My earliest memory, since I was a kid, and I remember, again, one of my earliest things, it was like 4 or 5 years old, is my father hitting my mother in the face as hard as he could, and she gets knocked out. And I remember seeing her on the floor, and then looking at him, this giant of a man, who I thought, my God, he says he loves her. What is he going to do to me? And all I could think, I want to protect her. I want to protect her. And how wrong it was. And I said, I got to be strong. And I got to get strength so that I can protect her. And every time he came home, we were scared. We didn't know. I literally wet the bed till I was 14 years old because I didn't know what was going to happen. I would wake up to glass breaking, just sounds, people screaming, and it was a nightmare. We lived a nightmare for years. And I remember my mother coming into our room and saying, we're leaving. Pack our stuff, we're out of here. And we would grab everything we had and we put it in garbage bags. And we would tie it up and we wait to go. And then she'd come back in and she'd say, we can't go. We can't leave. Where am I gonna go? And I just remember feeling like, let's go anywhere. I don't care. We can be in the street. But she couldn't do it. And he went on, terrorizing us forever. And it was like, what could we do? And organizations like this is what can be done. You have to understand that people in this situation feel entirely hopeless. Hopeless. We were hopeless. And I remember, and this is so wild because I picked up so many things. I thought, I'll never be like that. I'll never do that. But then I picked up a lot of other damaging things that come from that trauma. A lot of other things that had been assimilated into the culture, had been assimilated into athletic culture, assimilated into black culture, assimilated into my life. And I picked up a lot of these things, but this is the thing. What I was taught in my hood, in my area, is that simply because I was a man, I was more valuable than the women in my life. That was a firm belief. And here I am, I'm like, I watched my mother get abused. But here I am, as a man, I felt like, hey, It's my way or the highway. I remember times with my daughter Azriel, and I would yell at her as if she was a 30-year-old man. And I remember these times, and I remember I constantly apologize, constantly call them and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Daddy didn't get it. Daddy missed it. And and this is the deal. This is the deal. We have to speak up. We have to speak up. Because as being terrorized, how are you going to get help? But the problem is that you're behind enemy lines. And what's so wild is I wrote a book in 2014 called Manhood. Now, first of all, more than anything, I have to thank my beautiful wife, who could not be here tonight, Miss Rebecca Cruz, who was my best friend, but she's also the only person I had that would really tell me the truth. And she told me, I'm done with you. She said, I'm out. I'm through. And I couldn't believe what was happening, because here I was, a very successful man, very successful. But what you have to realize is that success is the warmest place to hide. You have to realize that people can't quantify the fact that, this guy is such a successful producer. How could he do these damaging things? This guy's a world-class athlete. How could he be this way? This guy's a professor and he's so intelligent. How could he do this stuff? This guy is a wonderful politician. How could this happen? Success is the warmest place to hide. And I knew I had a problem, and I got help. And I wrote this book, Manhood, which basically told all of my issues, all of my stuff, and it came out in 2014. And basically my publisher abandoned the book because they thought it was ridiculous. And they said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? They expected some really funny kind of like, a thing on athletics and entertainment. Terry Crews, you're very funny. We wanted a fun book. And I said, this is the book. This is what it is. And when it came out, it wasn't a big deal. Now it's a big deal. And when I look at what this is, when I look at this movement, the Me Too movement, this is the Emancipation Proclamation. This is a thing where what's so wild is that once I was assaulted at an event with my wife, me, at 48 years old, I'm 49 now, a year ago, I'm at an event and I'm sexually assaulted by the head of William Morris Endeavor's movie department in front of everyone. And he thought it was so funny. And I just couldn't believe what was happening. And let me tell you something. I know what toxic masculinity looks like because I was in it. And when they tried to gaslight me and say, oh, look, no, you can't be hurt, that we were just kidding. In fact, it was just horseplay. And I'm going, one man's horseplay is another man's humiliation. And I remember hearing Tarana's story. When Ronan Farrow came out with the story and all these actresses were coming out about Harvey Weinstein, and I got PTSD about what was happening. And I couldn't move, I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything until I said something. Because I had to support these women who were being told that they were opportunists, that they were liars, that they just were looking for a payday. And I said, this happened to me. Me. And I said, you guys, everyone has to see and everyone has to know that you know, it doesn't matter. Like, the whole thing was, I remember with women, the whole thing is like, what were you wearing that made him do that? And I had young black men come at me and say, hey man, you're so big, you could have knocked him out. You must have wanted it. And I thought, how did we get this off? You know, I was talking on the table. There was a time where the Red Cross would go out and give out bandages, medicine, and cigarettes. That's what they did. They handed out cigarettes to the patients. And everybody thought it was fine. How did we get that far off? Until we realized that this behavior, it's not, because the whole thing is about proving a conspiracy. We have, you know, but the thing is, it's impossible to prove a conspiracy, because you got to get two people in a room and prove that they want it, to get after you and the whole deal. But you can prove a complicit system when people are looking the other way, when the whole thing is geared where you can't ask for help or you are going to lose your job. Or if you bring it up, how in the world are you going to afford an attorney in order to fight this case? You need three things in order to come forward with a lot of your damage and the things that's happened to you. You need distance emotionally, you need distance financially, and you need distance physically. Coming out with your story is probably one of the hardest things ever. It's like flying a plane from LA to New York and you've never flown a plane before. And people are like, what took you so long? It's crazy. You are literally digging tunnels with spoons, trying to get out. Like my mother tried to get out. And I'm gonna tell you something, she never got out. My mother died in 2015. She never escaped. First of all, this is real, y'all. And I'm here to tell you, I want to thank the people that are here, because again, like my man said, it's preaching to the choir. Everyone here, you get it. You get it. But you have to go out and spread the word. Find one person, find one person that can help. And I'm telling you this right now. For me, this is my calling. This is more valuable. You know, I'm promoting movies and TV shows and the whole thing, but I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. Because when people understand that it does not matter what you look like, it doesn't matter, anyone, anywhere can be victimized. And no man, woman, or child should ever put up with being treated as less than a human being, ever, ever. And I tell you, I so appreciate those words from my daughter. And let me tell you, if my wife was here, I'd pull her up here too, let her tell her side. But I'm telling you, my wife, she's fearless. She's fearless. She looked me in my eye and she was ready to lose everything. She was like, I'm out. I don't care, I'll live by myself, I don't care, I don't need you, I don't need your money, I don't need anything. And that fearlessness woke me up. It woke me up to the damage I was doing. It woke me up. It was this catalyst that changed my life forever, that killed my pride. And I'm here to tell you, it's fixable. See, understand, this is fixable. This is something that we can be deprogrammed. You can see it, but you have to show people. We have to show people, we have to talk. And this is one thing I love about what Safe Horizon provides. It's a safe haven, this place to go, there's services that people need. And I'm telling you, I'm so thankful to be here today. I'm so honored. Thank you. All I can say. Thank you.